Critical thinking, it's about thinking deeply, thinking in depth before acting or before making a decision. So I won't really be doing much on the definition. I would want to talk more on the application of critical thinking in our everyday lives, because we I don't know, we don't really I feel like we don't really know how important critical thinking is. And this topic is actually, it actually feels like a coincidence, because I just recently started actively taking note of the importance of thinking critically in every single thing I do. Yeah, like taking note of it. So let's begin. And as we're starting, I don't just want, like, I know it's a voiceover, but I don't just want to be talking without passing any information. So as I'm saying some things, I would love us to reflect on some of our actions and look at the areas that we can apply critical thinking. Thank you very much. So if we are being honest, many of us many of us know the right thing to do, but we don't always think before we act. Most of the time we act based on emotions, which is completely normal. We're humans, right? But to avoid some certain outcomes or consequences, it's best to not always act on emotions or react emotionally, because of the consequences it could lead to. Do you understand? So it's a very good act to begin to slowly practice thinking deeply, thinking critically before, like, taking a step back, looking at the situation, assessing it before just acting. Do we understand that? So it's literally what helps us pause before we react, and it's what helps us ask ourselves: is this really true? Is this the best decision? Am I acting based on facts or just emotions? Do we understand that? And if we begin to ask ourselves those questions consistently, we'll definitely avoid a whole lot of unnecessary mistakes. Aside those mistakes, like I said before, outcomes and consequences. So let me give like a very simple example. This one is even like a personal example. I've had situations where someone would send a message to me and the tone would feel somehow. Immediately, my mind will start telling me, and for one thing I know for sure, I'm an overthinker. Yes, I'm an overthinker, and sometimes I tend to act based on emotions. So I may just be like, me and this person, are we fighting? Why is this person send this kind of message to me? Why is this person? Why does it sound off? This, this. Then if I take it that way, that oh, this tone is somehow, me too, I would want to like reply in a tone so that it's also somehow, leading that, which could eventually lead to an understanding and a misunderstanding. I mean, without thinking, I might just reply emotionally. Later, it might just be that I'll find out that oh, the person was probably busy or tired or had to quickly type something. The person was in a situation that required attention, but when he saw my messages, had to quickly type quickly. Do you understand that? So that's where critical thinking comes in. It teaches us to slow down. So when I see messages like that and I feel like the tone is off, instead of just replying emotionally based on my emotion, I'll just take a step back and just feel like, no, okay, there are also times you've probably typed like this and someone to perceive it in a wrong way. So, and you know that, oh, you did not mean that, but it's because of the situation you were probably in, probably sleepy, tired, and all of that. Then, I would put myself in that person's shoe and feel like, oh, no, I'm pretty sure it's not like this, it should be like this. So I took a step back, I understood, and didn't just reply based on emotions. I hope that's an example that really resonates with me, like a personal example. So, and I hope we can relate to that too. Another major example is social media. Oh my god, these days, informations that spread here and there, informations that are flying here about, and people are just always buying every single thing. Someone will post something, and before verifying it, many other people have already started posting the same thing. And most times they're usually fake. Most times the headline will be misleading. Most times the original creator would say this, it will be translated into another thing by another person. Then people will start spreading the misinformation created by the other person. Do you understand? So, like, critical thinking would help us ask this question: when people don't apply critical thinking in this sense, many people don't apply critical, they don't think deeply before sharing some things, before saying some things, right? So critical thinking would make us ask this question: how do I know this is actually true? Like, how true is this before before sharing it to other platform or before even believing it. Because not everything we hear deserves our belief. Not everything we see deserves our reaction. Some people just like to debate other people. So it's not all the time that you just like you get react emotionally. Yeah. And I hope we are following. So another person now, I've given two examples now. The first one was based on um understanding messages being sent to us by other people, and the second one was on social media. Then this third one would be on our goals. Our goals. Many of us have goals. It could be to be a doctor, it could be to save money for a particular thing, it could be to learn a skill, it could be to build discipline, so many things. And it's no doubt that before you can achieve these goals, you need to analyze certain things that you need to do before for these goals to be met. That is an example of thinking critically. You consider all the factors, you consider everything that needs to be done, things that does not need that could hinder the achievement of that goals that you would not want to do. All of those things, that are all factors of critical thinking. And if, for example, in the process of trying to achieve our goals, things go south, they don't go as we intend it to go, right? Then instead of feeling like, oh, I'm unlucky, it's because of this, or trying to blame a particular thing or that, critical thinking helps us to stop making excuses and start asking better questions. It helps you to ask better questions. Okay, why did this fail? Why did this happen to me? What did I do that was wrong? Like I said, like I've been saying, taking a step back to analyze the whole situation. What is that thing I can do instead of this to achieve a better result? I hope you understand what I'm saying. And that's actually the way growth begins. That's how growth is. Like, that's how growth starts, I mean. And one other thing, very, very important, critical thinking helps us to it protects us. I mean, critical thinking protects us from peer pressure. You see your mates doing this, you see your mates doing that, and definitely, I mean, we all want to feel along, but at the same time, that moment that you used to think and say that, now me doing this would result in this and that does not align with my values. That is an application of critical thinking, and it protects us from peer pressure. So critical thinkers don't just follow the loudest noise or loudest voice. They don't just follow trends. They examine, they evaluate the situation, then they decide after examining. So okay, those three steps now. Three steps to achieving critical thinking. First off, you examine the situation. You examine the problem, you examine what is at hand. Then you evaluate the situation, and then you decide. So I hope we understand that. In simpler terms, we can use it as: you pause, you think, you ask questions if necessary, then you act. You pause, you think, you ask questions if necessary, then you act. So all of this is because the quality of your thinking will determine the quality of your decisions, and the quality of your decisions will determine the quality of your life. So I really want that to stick with us. The quality of your thinking will determine the quality of your decisions, and every decision you make determines the quality of your life. So with that, I would want to say a very, very, very big thank you for listening, and I hope we are seeing the application. I gave some areas where critical thinking is applicable, and I hope we now know how to apply critical thinking, the major steps by examining, evaluating, and then making a decision. In simpler words, you pause, you think, and then you act. If it's necessary for you to ask questions, you ask questions, then you act.